Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into an important topic. Why relapse doesn't mean you've failed in your recovery journey. Look, addiction is tough stuff. It's a daily battle against cravings, triggers, and the pull to go back to old habits. And sometimes, despite our best efforts, we stumble, we fall, we relapse, we go back in the same habits where we were before. But here's the thing, relapse doesn't mean you're weak, it doesn't mean you're a failure, and it certainly doesn't mean you should just give up. It's time to change the way we think about relapse. It's not the opposite of recovery, it's a part of it. Today we're going to break down why relapse happens, what it really means, and how you can use it as a stepping stone to get back on track and build a stronger, more resilient you. So, if you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, stick around. This one's for you. Let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Addiction is a disease. It's a complex condition that affects the brain and behavior, making it difficult for people to control their use of substances despite harmful consequences. It's not a moral failing, nor is it a sign of weak character or lack of discipline. It's not a lack of willpower, and it's certainly not something that people choose for themselves. No one wakes up one day and decides to become addicted. It's a gradual process that can happen to anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. Addiction is a chronic, relapsing disease that changes the way the brain functions. It alters the brain's reward system, making it difficult to experience pleasure from everyday activities. Think about it like any other chronic illness, like diabetes or heart disease. These conditions require ongoing management and treatment, and sometimes there are setbacks. These conditions require ongoing management and treatment, and sometimes there are setbacks. Just as someone with diabetes needs to monitor their blood sugar levels and take insulin, someone with addiction needs to manage their condition with the help of medical professionals and support systems. Would you tell someone with diabetes who had a high blood sugar reading that they're a failure and should just give up? Of course not. Addiction is no different. It's a medical condition that requires understanding and compassion. It's a medical condition that affects the brain's reward system, making it incredibly difficult to control impulses and resist cravings. The brain's chemistry is altered, leading to a cycle of dependency. When someone addicted is masturbation, social media constantly scrolling, or uses drugs or alcohol, it floods the brain with dopamine, creating a feeling of pleasure. This intense pleasure can overshadow other aspects of life, making the substance the primary focus. Over time, the brain becomes dependent on that substance to function, and it takes more and more to achieve the same effect. This leads to increased use and a deeper entrenchment in the cycle of addiction. This creates a vicious cycle of cravings, use, and withdrawal that can be incredibly difficult to break. Withdrawal symptoms can be severe and overwhelming, making it hard for individuals to quit on their own. Now, just like with diabetes or heart disease, there are effective treatments for addiction. Therapy, medication, and support groups can all help people manage their condition and live healthier lives. These treatments provide the tools and support needed to overcome addiction, and support groups can all help people manage their condition and live healthier lives. It's important to recognize that recovery is a journey, and having a strong support system can make all the difference. But just like with those other compulsive behaviors, relapse is a possibility. It's not a sign of failure, but rather an indication that to break the cycle of weak mindset and treatment plan needs to be reassessed. It's important to remember that relapse doesn't mean the treatment failed. It simply means that the treatment plan may need to be adjusted, or that the individual needs additional support. It's a part of the process, and with the right help, individuals can get back on track. It simply means that the treatment plan may need to be adjusted, or that the individual needs additional support. It's a bump in the road, not the end of the road. With perseverance and the right resources, recovery is possible. It's a bump in the road, not the end of the road. Remember, addiction is a disease, not a weakness. With the right treatment and support, individuals can overcome it and lead fulfilling lives. Look, you're not alone in this. Many people who are on the path to recovery from addiction face similar challenges. Relapse is a common part of recovery from addiction. It's not a sign of failure, but rather a part of the journey that many people experience. In fact, research shows that relapse rates for addiction are similar to those of other chronic illnesses, such as diabetes, hypertension, and asthma. The National Institute on Drug Abuse estimates that roughly 40 to 60% of people treated for addiction experience some form of relapse. This statistic underscores the chronic nature of addiction. Now, that might sound discouraging at first, but I want you to think about it this way. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. It means you're not a failure, you're not weak, and you're not alone in this journey. Many people have walked this path before you and have found their way to lasting recovery. Think about it like this. If you were diagnosed with overweighted and your doctor put you on medication, there's a chance your believed sciatum could still fluctuate. This doesn't mean that you will not evolve. It just means you might need to adjust the plans to the target and dream or try a different approach. The same principle applies to addiction recovery. Recovery from addiction is similar. It's a process of trial and error, of learning what works for you and what doesn't. Each setback is a chance to refine your approach. It's a process of trial and error, of learning what works for you and what doesn't. You might find that some strategies are more effective than others, and sometimes that means experiencing setbacks along the way. These setbacks are not the end of the road, but rather a part of the journey. A survey conducted by the Recovery Village found that nearly half of the respondents who relapsed did so within the first 3 months after treatment. This period is critical for establishing new habits and coping mechanisms. This highlights the importance of ongoing support and relapse prevention strategies, especially during the early stages of recovery. Continuous support can make a significant difference in maintaining long-term sobriety. Chapter 3. Recovery, a marathon, not a sprint. Here's the deal. Recovery isn't a one-and-done kind of thing. It's not like you go to rehab, get a magic pill, and boom, you're cured. It's a lifelong journey, and it takes time, effort, and a whole lot of self-awareness. Think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't expect to just wake up one day and run 26.2 miles without any prior training, would you? No way. You'd need to start slow, build up your endurance, and develop a solid training plan. Recovery is the same way. You need to pace yourself, set realistic goals, and be prepared for the long haul. There will be days when you feel strong and motivated, and there will be days when you just want to crawl back into bed and give up. But the key is to keep moving forward one step at a time. Just like a marathon runner pushes through fatigue and pain, you need to push through the cravings, the triggers, and the negative self-talk. Remember, recovery isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every day that you choose sobriety over addiction is a victory, no matter how small it may seem. Chapter 4. Relapse, a time for reflection, not defeat. Now, if you do experience a relapse, don't beat yourself up about it. It happens. The important thing is to view it as a learning opportunity, a chance to reassess your treatment plan and make adjustments where needed. Think of it like a scientist conducting an experiment. If the experiment doesn't yield the desired results, they don't just throw their hands up and give up. They go back to the drawing board, analyze what went wrong, and adjust their approach. Relapse can provide valuable information about your triggers, your coping mechanisms, and your support system. It's like a wake-up call, telling you that something needs to change. Maybe you need to explore different options like medication-assisted treatment or a different type of therapy. Maybe you need to strengthen your support system, connect with a sponsor, or attend more meetings. Or maybe you need to address underlying mental health issues like depression or anxiety that may be contributing to your addiction. Whatever the case may be, relapse is an opportunity to gather information and make positive changes. Chapter 5. Building a new life, brick by brick. Recovery isn't just about not using drugs or alcohol, it's about creating a new life for yourself, one that is fulfilling, meaningful, and free from addiction. It's about rediscovering who you are without the crutch of substances, and finding joy in the simple, everyday moments that make life worth living. It's about building a life that you don't want to escape from, a life where you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, and go to bed each night feeling accomplished and at peace. Think of it like building a house. Just as a house needs a solid foundation to stand strong, your new life needs a strong base of support and healthy habits. You wouldn't just slap some walls together and call it a day, would you? No, you'd plan carefully, ensuring each part fits perfectly to create a stable structure. No, you'd start with a strong foundation, then carefully lay each brick one by one until you had a solid, sturdy structure. Each brick represents a positive change or a healthy habit that contributes to your overall well-being. Building a new life in recovery is the same way. It requires patience, dedication, and a clear vision of what you want your life to look like. You need to start with a strong foundation of support, whether it's from family, friends, a therapist, or a support group. These connections provide the stability and encouragement you need to keep moving forward. These people will be your rocks, the ones you can lean on when things get tough. They will help you stay grounded and remind you of your progress when you feel like giving up. Then you need to start making changes, brick by brick. This involves setting realistic goals and taking small, manageable steps towards achieving them. This might mean finding new hobbies, developing healthy coping mechanisms, or exploring activities that bring you joy and relaxation, or surrounding yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with can have a significant impact on your mindset and motivation. It might mean going back to school, getting a job, or repairing damaged relationships. Each of these steps helps to rebuild your life and create a sense of normalcy and achievement. The key is to create a life that is so full of joy, purpose, and connection that you don't have time or the desire to go back to your old ways. A life where you feel fulfilled and content. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. There's a community of people who understand and are ready to support you. There are people out there who have walked this path before you, who have faced similar challenges and have come out stronger on the other side. People who understand what you're going through and want to help. They can offer valuable insights and share their experiences to guide you on your journey. Peer support specialists, for example, are individuals who have been in recovery themselves and can offer guidance, support, and a listening ear. They can be a source of inspiration and a reminder that recovery is possible. Outro your recovery journey starts today. Remember, relapse is not the end of your recovery journey, it's just a part of it. Let it go and restart. Don't go the habits in the past. Every day is refresh learned lessons and move on. Stay strong, seek support, and keep moving forward. You've got this. Don't let a stumble, a fall, or even a full-blown relapse define you. You are stronger than you think, and you deserve to live a healthy, fulfilling life free from addiction. If you need help, contact the Recovery Village's admissions department today. Our team of compassionate professionals is here to support you every step of the way. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative content.